guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So today I thought I would show you how to make these lovely little toadstools. I wanted to make one to go on to for a little dingly dangly on my journal that I was going to do a video on. So I thought I'd show you how to make these first, and I just think they are the cutest. They are lovely. This is like a niddy diddy one, which is just beautiful, and they're just like little dingly danglies like I like to make, and they're more sort of like shabby more than sort of like well, this one isn't. This one I did, which is the only sort of like fabric I had, which was more sort of like autumny colour, which was just a piece of this it's like sampler piece of fabric. But these are lovely. Now the reason I made them was because I wanted something to dangle off this journal, and I just thought a little mushroom would be fab, because it's like a little autumn journal, and I just love it. It's a little bit of broken jewellery that I've hung on the end there as well, but that makes such a lovely dangle. I'm going to do this little journal in a video, but love them. This one I've just popped a little one of my little butterflies on there as well. Super simple. These are really simple, and they are lovely. Now what I've wrapped this in, which oopsie daisy, which is like it looks like felt actually, but it's not. It's these that I brought back from England, which is the it's like the silk cocoons. It's what they have left over. So what I did, I just pulled this apart like that, and it gives you this fantastic fibre, and it's just absolutely perfect to wrap around as the little stalk of your toadstool, mushroom or toadstool or whatever you would like to call them. So that's perfect. But if you didn't have that, you could use like a little bit of fibre. If you've got any sort of like fibre, or maybe sort of like a little bit of cheesecloth or something like that, just wrap it round, or a little bit of anything that you've got that's sort of like a bit fibre-y, like that. But this is just lovely, so it's a great way to use that up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make velvet ones, because I like my little shabby velvety sort of ones, but these can be done with any fabric at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of wire. I really don't know what gauge wire this is, but you need something that's, you know, it's going to hold its shape. Now I'm going to take roughly about 6 inches, depending on what size mushroom you want. Where's my ruler? Let's just measure this piece a minute. So what's that? Oh look, just under 6 inches. So what's that? About 15 centimeters. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my little glue stick, and I'm going to just wrap that round so it's sort of in the middle like that, and then squeeze it a little bit more, just like that. So you got almost like a little pointier top like that. So, and then take some pliers. I'm going to hold it and just bend that one like that, and then that one this way. So then you've got sort of like your top of your, can you see that? Top of your mushroom. And then I'm going to hold this in the middle, and then bend these two down, and then just twist that. So this will make our stalk that we're going to cover. So it's very basic like that. And then I'm just going to turn that up so it's not going to dig in anywhere. So that's what we've got. We just sort of like got that shape, which I've got another one here which is slightly bigger. So you can do these any size really. It doesn't really matter what size you do them. Well, it all depends what you want them for, but I want the smaller ones so that I can dangle them off my journals or anything like that. So what I've got here, I've got a bit of velvet, and I've popped double-sided tape over on the back. Now you can do that with anything. So I've got a little bit more. This is sort of like a velvet fabric on the back. I can't remember where I got this from. It might even have been Temu or Amazon. I will have a look. Where's my tape gone? Oh, here it is. And then I've just got some double-sided tape. I've taken a piece like that. I'm not going to stick it on this one. And then I've just popped some tape on the back and cut it to size. And then I've got a little piece like this. And then what I'm going to do, this might be enough to fold over like that. So I'm going to cut a piece off just about, I think. Cut this in half. Let me just bend this. Let's just squash this down just slightly, just so it'll fit a little bit better. You see we've got this lovely little mushroom shape, and that will just stick over. So this is the easiest way that I found to do it. Now, obviously I didn't want them to be puffy because I want them to just to dingle off the journal. So I'm going to just stick that down like that and then wrap that over the top like that. So if you've got a fabric that's a little bit stiffer, that would be absolutely perfect. A floppy one or a sort of see-through one is quite difficult, but this one is made from the same stuff that I made my flowers from, the Shabby flowers that I did last weekend. And I did quite a few layers on that. So that's just over the top of that, and I'm going to just cut around it. Leave a little sort of edge to it. Don't cut right up to the edge. There we go. Just leave a little bit on there. So that's our little mushroom. It's not very mushroomy shaped, is it? Not a very mushroomy mushroom, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. And I'm going to just go around the edges of this one with a lighter because it's got little edges on it. Yeah, my mushroom's not very mushroom shaped. But that's okay. I think I've got it, I'll bring it in. It needs to sort of come out a little bit. But there we go. Right, that's our little head, mushroom head. Now I'm going to get, this is what I want, some of this. So I'm just pulling this out, and again, you can, I've got some felt as well, so you could always use a little bit of felt. I think on this bigger one, I think I put a piece of felt underneath that just to make the stalk a little bit thicker. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wrap around. I don't need all of this. I'm just going to wrap this around. Just like that. Just like a little, this one's going to look a bit like a lollipop. But that's just, oh, I will use all of that. Just a minute, so that's its little stalk. Pull that up. No, it's not very mushroomy, this one. So that's just around there. I'm going to get a little bit more actually. Just make the bottom bit a little bit fatter. This stuff is just amazing. So if you didn't see, this is stuff that I got this bag of this. I bought this back from the UK. It's like the leftover bits from silk wormies, silk things that, you know, it's their sort of cocoony bits that it's the leftover bit. And the woman in the shop was telling me that she makes sort of mixed media bits and pieces with all of this, and it's just fabulous. Does that look a little bit better? They sort of need to be a little bit fatter at the bottom. Now I'm going to just sew this. Now, ouch. I'm going to get my needle and cotton. Now this thread is beading thread, which I use because it's, you know, it's a little bit stronger. I'm not going to worry about that top bit because we're going to cover that up in a minute. So I'm just going to go through this and just sort of sew through it. And I'm using this thread because you can't see it. It's sort of like hidden a little bit because it's sort of clear. I'm going to just bring that little bit up just to give them a little bit more of a poofy bottom, like little toadstools have a bit of a poofier bottom, don't they? There we go. Like that. But again, like I said, just wrap a little bit of what's it called, trim or anything. You could probably just wrap a little bit of lace around there as well. I'm going to just twist this like that. Pop that through like that. So that's our little toadstooly sort of thing. Gosh, it's not the best one I've done. Let's just sew back down. You don't have to sew, you can glue your bits on, but I quite like the sort of sewing bit. Let's just bring that in. It's a little bit wobbly. There we go. There we go. Yeah, he's not, I'm sorry, he's not very mushroomy, is he? Okay. Just going to tie this bit off. Oh, actually I'm not. Shall I? No, I'm going to go up to the top. Just going to go back up to the top, but you're going to make sure this isn't going to fall off. Like that. Let's grab onto that little bit. Pull that down. I'm going to pop a little bit of sort of tulle, a little bit of netting at the top. This is quite difficult to sew into because it's got sticky tape on it, and if you've ever tried to sew on your machine over double-sided tape, you know you end up with a big mess because it just sticks to your needle. Okay, there we go. That's better. Right, I'm going to leave that needle in there like that. And I'm going to get a little bit of this tulle just to give it that little, they have like a little funny fluffy bit underneath them, don't they? I don't know what it's called. But they have a little bit that comes out. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this tulle that I've got. Keep that sewn on there, and then I'm just going to, don't worry about the width of it, just cut a little bit off because we can always sort of like trim it up. Just do a little bit of a straight stitch on there and sew it into this. Now again, if you're not going to sew, you can just sort of like glue a little, just a little fluffy bit on there. I should have done a bigger one really, shouldn't I, to show you. Like that. But I'm sure you'll get the sort of gist of what you have to do. Although this one does look a bit like a little fluffy lollipop. There we go. Just around. I'm going to trim this off because it's quite wide. We don't want it that wide. But you want to make like a little ruffle just so it goes around the bottom of here. Oops. Oh gosh, I've just taken the... It takes me forever to... I usually use these with a beading needle, but it's so impossible to thread a beading needle. For me, anyway. I can never see the little eye of the needle. Let's just gather that up. Gather that up and go through there. There we go. Look at that. Little fluffy lollipop. Couple of stitches through there, and let's see if we can make this look a bit more. Need to make it just a little bit more toadstool shaped, don't we? Well, I'm going to cut this down because we don't need this long. We just need sort of like the little, don't know what you call it, little beady bit that comes up underneath. Now this definitely looks like a lollipop. Let's see if we can change the shape a little bit. Oh look, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? Okay. Lollipop. It looks quite cute though, doesn't it? It looks sort of mushroomy. You know what I'm doing, don't you? Right, the other thing I'm going to do now is just make a little hole at the top, just so I can pop a little, just get my grubby little awl, stick that through there, and get a little jump ring. Oops. Pop a little jump ring through, like that. I think I'll make a bigger one in a minute. I'll show you, probably be easier to see with a bigger one. Okay, which do we want, the back and the front? Now on the bottom, I'm just going to add a little bit of ink on there, just so it's like the bottom of the toadstool, can you see? And then what shall we put on it? I've got some little they're sort of like iridescent little thingamajiggies. Where's my little beads? We got some of these sequins, that's what they're called, sequins. And then I've got some little tiny little crystals on here which we shall put on. I'm going to use a little bit of this glue, which is the little beading glue, little gem glue. I'm just going to add just a little bit, just so we've got some little dots on there. Got my little picky up tool, then just pop them on like that. But yeah, shall I make a bigger one? I think I'll make a bigger one. A bigger one, and then you can probably see what I'm doing. Try and make it into a proper little toadstooly shape. There's a little bit of glue there. I think I got a little bit of glue on there. Oh, I do like them though. They look so pretty, don't they? And because it's sort of like the creamy colour, it will go with, you know, most sort of journals, whether you want to have it with a shabby journal or with a sort of autumn journal. But look at that, that's so cute, isn't it? Right, shall I make one that actually looks like a toadstool? This is a better shape. Can you see that's a better shape, isn't it? But shall I see if I can make a bigger one? There we go. Let's wrap around here. Let's do that. Let's do a bit tighter at the top. There we go. Fold that side in, and then fold that side in. That's a bit more mushroomy, isn't it? hold on to the middle and then just bring that down. Looks like a little jellyfish now. Twist that around and then you've got your mushroom short of shape. There we go. Lovely. Right, I'm going to do another creamy one because I like this colour. That's not going to be big enough. Not quite. So let's take another bit of tape. So let me show you how I do it. Take a piece of tape, snip that off. Oh, that was a perfect size. Look at that. Cut that down. Make sure that's stuck on there nicely. This is so pretty. And then try and get the backing off. I'm going to come off that one. The nice thing about this fabric is that, oh, I don't know whether I need all that. It's quite stiff. There we go. I'm going to just put this onto here. Like that. It's easier to sort of use, and because sometimes velvety fabric is very, very thin. There we go, got a little bit on there. Okay, let's hope this looks a bit more mushroomy. I think so. There we are. Oops. There we go. Let's just get my lighter, just get rid of those little fluffy edges. There we are, that's a little bit better, isn't it? Let's just see if we can get this tighter. It's a little bit offset. Right, I'm going to show you with a little bit of this as well, because this is a sort of a bigger one. I'm going to add just a little bit of felt. Oops. Like that. And I'm just going to fold that in half. I'm just going to glue that on so it's sort of in the middle. I'm going to do that with my glue gun. Do this just so that's in the middle like that. And I'm going to just trim it up just so it's a little bit thinner at the top, if I can cut that off. Oh, there's a little long bit there. You don't want that. Because you can sort of like sculpt them into a little bit of a shape, and because they're wire you can sort of like bend your little stalk a little bit as well, but these aren't really big enough to do that. If you were making bigger ones you probably could, but I think these will just wrap a little bit of, there we go, that's a little bit more stalky and mushroomy, isn't it? That's looking a bit better. Right, now we need a little bit more of this to pop on there. Let's take a bit more. Just pull this out. Just very, very bizarre stuff. There we go. Okay. Going to just wrap this around like this. Then again, I will sew this as well. Let's just make the bottom a little bit fatter. Wrap that round. I suppose this is very much like, you could also do the needle felting. Now I do have needle felting stuff, so that would make a lovely little bottom of a toadstool if you needle felt it as well. Oh, I might have a go at that. Oops. This isn't the easiest to make a little knot. Okay. Let's just sew this. This isn't the easiest either to sew through because I went and glue gunned it, didn't I? So that's not going to be the easiest. Let's just sew this on. So guys, have you had anything exciting this week? Have you done anything exciting? Been anywhere? Just been working? I haven't. What have I done? I went shopping. That was very exciting. Went and got some tablets for Jessie at the vet yesterday, so I didn't do a video. I had some chores to do. And by the time I got back, it was a bit late. I just sort of like had a practice making some of these. Well, actually, I wasn't. I was doing making this little book for a video. And I wanted the little dingly dangly off it. So that's why I made the little mushrooms, which I just love them. If you can make them look mushroomy. So like I said, you don't have to sew, but I quite like putting sort of stitches in. Just adds to the sort of rusticness, if you know what I mean, of the stalk. I think it looks great. Ooh, sounds like there's like little chicks outside. I think there's a nest next door, but they sounded very, very close. Don't know whether it's that time of year, probably not. Okay, let's get down to this little bottom bit. Pull that around. Pull it up. There we go. Now I quite like to make a bigger toadstool, sort of bigger, shabbier one with beads on it, so that's what I do fancy making. So I might have a go at that. A nice shabby one. Oh look, I like this one. This is coming out lovely. This is coming out a little bit more rusticy, isn't it? Can you see? That's lovely, isn't it? Little toadstool. Oops. What's the difference? You know what the difference is between a toadstool and a mushroom? Is there a difference? Obviously you can't eat toadstools, can you? Because a lot of them are poisonous, but... and mushrooms. I must find out what the difference is. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that like that, because these are almost like look like little roots, don't they, that come off. Let's go back up at the top and we can sew a little bit of the little tool going round to the top. There we go. Oh, I like this little one. Right, let's get a little bit of this. It's funny how I was sort of like making that little journal and then I just got off onto a little tangent of making these. It's amazing what you sort of like end up doing. You start on one project, don't you, and then you end up doing all sorts of other things. So I'm just going to take another bit of tulle and then do the same as I did on the other one. Just gather that up like that. Take that in and just make that little, let's make a little ruffle. Don't know what you call it either. It's like a little toadstool skirt or something. Go. Yeah, they would look lovely puffy, wouldn't they? That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I shall do. I want to make a shabby puffy beady one. Just as a decoration, a shabby decoration. Have you guys made any toadstools, mushrooms, shabby ones? I must do a little bit and see what's the easiest way of doing them. Do you need a little mould or something? Stuffing? I think I need a bit of stuffing in there, don't I, to do that? Oh, I'm quite excited about that. There we go, that's his little ruffle. It's not the best one, but I like the sort of rusticness of these. Let's just pick that up. Oh, there we go. I'm not going to cut this one down. I quite like the fluffiness of this. There we go. Cut that little bit off. Which side? Or maybe that's a little bit too ruffly. That's okay, we'll go this way. Look at that, doesn't that look so pretty? Now we need to make a little bit at the top. You could make little key rings with these. You can make like a little mobile, couldn't you? Little mushroom toadstool mobile. Or you can make the traditional sort of toadstools with the red and white spots. But I just think these are fabulous. Let's add a little bit of dirt to the bottom of it. There we go. Just a little bit. Like that. I suppose I could even add a little bit of this, couldn't I? What I mean, that would be quite nice. Oops. Just a little bit. All depends how you're going to use them. It would look fabulous in my little Folks of the Forest journal, wouldn't it? Oh, I think I'm gonna put that on there, you know. I'm not gonna sew it. I'm gonna just add a tiny bit of glue. Tiny bit of glue gun on there. There we go. That looks like a little muddy, like it's just been pulled out of the dirt, out of the earth. And I suppose you could probably have a little bit of green, mossy bit. Well, I've got put some of this. So you could stick that on a page, couldn't you? And then have that, because it's so flat, then you could have a little bit of greenery on there. Ooh, that's nice. Lovely. Shall we put anything on this one? What can we put on here? I might put some of these little sew-on gems, but I'm not going to sew them on. I'm just going to stick them on. And I'm going to stick them on with some gem glue. Let's just see. Let's see what that looks like. Can I pick it up with this? I think these are the smallest ones I've got. Oh, shall we have a nice blingy one? We like a bit of bling. There we go. Oh, I'm going to have lots of little toadstools hanging around my room. That's why I wanted to do them in sort of this colour, because they sort of like blend in with all my other bits and pieces that I've got hanging around. Well, I don't mean blend in, I mean sort of go with. Oh, look at that. That's his little spots. Oh, I love it. Oh, how exciting, guys. I do enjoy making these. The first one, I do apologise. We have a little fluffy lollipop. But I suppose we have toadstools in all sorts of different sort of shapes and sizes, don't we? I will probably make a little diddy one in there as well. But there we go, guys. That's that one. I love it. I think that's so lovely. So I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration. And again, you do them in any fabrics you've got. These are just the fabrics I use, because I use these colours in majority of what I do. But that's lovely. That's just like a little bit of elasticated trim that I've put around there. That's this one, which is bigger. And then again, like I said, I've got a little butterfly on this one. And then this is a diddy one. I like this little diddy one. That's cute, and that's got some little sequins on there. And then this one, I've just got, it's got some stickles and some little gems on there, and that's a little tiny one, but I think that's perfect for hanging off the journal, isn't it? It's just beautiful. So there we go, guys. There's your little dingly dangly toadstools, which I think are just perfect. And it's just, you know, even if you make one or two, it's just ideal, oopsie daisy, just to hang off a little journal, seeing it's autumn. So there we go, guys. I'm going to make a couple more, and then I'm going to try and make a little shabby toadstool and see how I get on. So maybe I'll do that for Shabby Saturday. I will give that a go, but I'm going to be doing this little journal, which is a really simple one, in my next video. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fab rest of the day. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. All right, guys. Bye-bye.